Hello there! Welcome to Tuskeh Talks. Although, really, I suppose it should be called Tuskeh Rants, because that's what I've been doing most of. I am very good at ranting, and I suppose it helps me relieve a little bit of frustration about certain topics, and can even prove to be a bit informative and entertaining. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So, let's talk about Tuskeh Talks quickly. It's changed somewhat. So I've moved away from WildStar, shockingly, which isn't a big surprise for anyone, really, especially not myself. I've played other MMOs in my time, and I like WildStar, I do. I like WoW more, and with the curse stuff that I'm doing, it's kind of taken a back seat, really. And I don't really find myself with the time to play it enough to justify making videos about it. I barely play it at all anymore, really. I mean, I love the combat, I love the exploration, and all that stuff, and it is a great game. I just don't have time for it at the moment. I'm preparing for Warlords of Draenor. I know already I need to level a lot of characters if I want to do what I want to do for that, and I just don't have time for WildStar. So I'm moving away from it for now, which means it's not going to be on Tuskeh Talks anymore, and I just think I'd like to focus the show on what I want to talk about. I mean, it's all well and good to have a system where it's like, okay, I'll talk about WoW here and WildStar here and then general gaming news at the end. But really, I don't care anymore. I just want to talk about what I want to talk about, and I feel like if I do that, then hopefully it will prove to make interesting videos. I could also turn the show into a kind of weekly update thing to let you folks know just what I'm up to. So, for example, over the last couple of weeks, because I missed the Tuskeh Talks, was it last week or the week before? I missed the Tuskeh Talks because of real life, unfortunately. A friend of mine was taken out for his birthday, and I had to go and attend, and it was awesome. But it also meant that I couldn't post about it because he actually watches my channel, so I couldn't do that. So over the last 2 weeks, I have been playing a lot of Dragon Age 2, preparing for Inquisition, and I like Dragon Age 2. I did play Origins beforehand. When I say beforehand, I mean a couple of weeks beforehand, not when it was first came out. I kind of avoided Origins, and it took a while for me to get into it, but then I realized it was a very good game, and I did enjoy Origins. Dragon Age 2 is very different, very, very different. The combat is amazing, and the animations are great, but I'm struggling to stay in it. I don't know why. I've got through the first act, but I'm struggling to kind of keep the momentum going. I'm not sure why, but I will struggle through it just to get the story done, so I am ready for Inquisition. I've also played through Heart of the Swarm again, because it's awesome, and Heart of the Swarm is Heart of the Swarm. I mean, it's just wonderful. It just is. It's a Blizzard game, and StarCraft 2 is really good, and Heart of the Swarm is probably one of the best RTSs ever made, in my opinion. That might be controversial, but hey, I don't care. I really love it. I think it's got an amazing amount of detail. The missions are incredibly well designed. It's got a pretty good story. It's not the most original story, but it's very well told, and I love the interaction between Kerrigan and Reyna throughout it, and I've noticed there's a lot of loyalty in the Zerg. Maybe that's because they're all mind-controlled, but I really like the loyalty. What else have I been doing? I was also invited into Landmark. A friend of mine invited me to play some of that, and bloody hell, that's a game and a half. I don't have much time to play it at the moment. Again, the same problem with WildStar, but Landmark does seem like a very, very unique MMO. It reminds me of Minecraft, but not quite. I know there's been a big kind of outburst of Minecraft-like games. I hesitate to say Minecraft clones, because Landmark isn't a Minecraft clone. It just isn't. It's very unique, and I'm going to need more time on it to figure out what I think about it, but apparently it's very grindy, so that may be a problem because I don't have that much time. I've also been leveling a Fury Warrior in preparation for Warlords, and that actually brings me on to what I intend to do with Warlords, because I intend to make... Okay, let me just say this. I intend to make the best guides for Warlords of Draenor on YouTube. That's what I want to do. That's just my goal. I might not hit it. I might hit it, which would be awesome, but I might not hit it. And there are lots of great guide makers out there, and I intend to compete with them. It's that simple. I intend to have some great guides out there. So I want to have one of every role ready for Warlords. So, for instance, if I were to do a 5-man heroic guide or something, or an LFR guide, I would want footage from every single point of view. I would want to say, like, okay, so for this mechanic, the tanks are going to have to do this, and I would like footage of the tanks having to do it, and from my point of view, completely and utterly. That's very important, I think. And then I would be able to say, okay, and the DPS have to do this, and I would have shots of some range doing stuff and some footage of the melee doing stuff. So that's what the Fury Warrior is for. And then, of course, I would have one of the healers as well, and I'd be able to intercut between those with probably some art assets. I was thinking of having something like a little circular icon of what each class is going to be, and then like a little thing saying like Fury, melee DPS, or, you know, elemental range DPS. or restoration, ranged healer, because monks are melee healers for some reason. Anyway, that's my plan for warlords at the moment. So I've also been leveling the Fury Warrior. It's been quite fun. I have gone with Fury because that's what my heirlooms went with. I'm not a big fan of leveling with heirlooms, but every time I log on, I see the list of people that I have to level up, the list of characters I have to hit 90 with. So I'm going to be using heirlooms, funnily enough. Of course, going Fury isn't optimal. If I really wanted to level him up, I would go Protection and then level him up through tanking dungeons. But I want to actually, level up a Fury Warrior and learn as I level up. Because learning the Druid after boosting him to 90, that has taken time, and I would prefer to just know my rotation because I've been doing it for 90 levels, So, I'm going to be questing as a Fury Warrior. May do some dungeons, not sure. And that's what's in the background right now. But, all that said, this brings me on to my main topic. Optimism. And it's a thing that I see a lot of people struggle with, not just in gaming, but just in general. And this is it's a problem that I see. People just aren't optimistic enough. This is a massive deal, in my opinion, because I like to think that I'm an optimistic person, and I like to think that my optimism is a point in my favour, not in my detriment, because it's very easy to be naive, and it's very easy to just look past all of the negative stuff and say, oh no, I think things are going to go great. And people can say that in the most dire of circumstances, whether that be about a completely failed game, whether it be about, something in real life. And I don't want to talk about real life too much. This is a game channel, so I don't want to talk too much about real life. But it is also a problem in the gaming industry as well, I think, and especially in MMOs, because people are so bloody cynical. It just sucks, in my opinion. Because being optimistic can be great, because being optimistic generally means that you are happy about things. You will say, like, oh, I'm pretty sure that this next expansion is going to be good, I've been looking at the cinematics and stuff, and it looks good. I know they're advertisements, but it looks like more WoW, and WoW has always been great. And that's being optimistic, and I think it makes you happy because you are being happy. Whereas if you're sitting there saying, like, oh, this cinematic is different from all the other ones, they're desperately trying to find new ways of doing this or that, all the subscriber count has been going down. I hate that argument, by the way. The subscriber count is going down, therefore WoW is dying. No shit! Really? It's almost like this game has been out for 10 years. Of course WoW is dying, and Blizzard is doing everything they can to keep it alive because it's a great game. And WoW has a lot of very devout subscribers. Zealot-like, I would say, some of them. But just saying, oh, the subscriber count is going down, therefore WoW is failing, is not an argument. Every MMO is dying because every MMO can't last forever. But when it comes down to it, WoW will die when Blizzard decides it will die, and they will replace it with another MMO, which is probably what Project Titan is going to be. That's probably going to be quite far away, so we have plenty of expansions left. Don't panic so much. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yes, cynicism. It sucks, because you're sitting there saying, like, oh, WoW is losing subscribers, the cinematic is different, they're struggling to capture the magic that was in vanilla, all that stuff. And you just sit there and you convince yourself that you don't like the game that you are basically addicted to, because that's the problem with WoW. It is an addicting game, and lots of people are addicted to it. I've been addicted to it as well. I suppose I still am, in a way, although because I've turned it into work, it's a different kind of addiction. I'm a little bit of a workaholic. You have to be if you want to do anything on YouTube, I think. It's kind of a lifestyle choice for me at the moment, not just a game. When it was just a game when I was younger, I was addicted to it quite badly. It got me in trouble. So I would suggest if you are addicted, try not to be. I'm not really the biggest example of, oh, I dealt with addiction, but no. That's a different topic entirely. I was talking about cynicism, because people are addicted to this game. They just are. People can be addicted to things they don't like, which sucks, but that's really for them to decide. I mean, if they realize they're addicted to something they don't like, then they have to just stop doing the thing they don't like. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not any of that stuff. I'm just saying that if someone is addicted to something, let's go with WoW, because it's not drugs or anything like that. If someone is addicted to WoW, then they should have the self-control really to step back, because it is only a game at the end of the day. And it's so difficult to remember that. And this is why cynicism pisses me off. I mean, I like being cynical. I can be quite cynical, but I like to be optimistic more, because I think that defines me as a person more than being cynical does. I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but if someone is cynical about this game and then being pessimistic, that's the main thing. If you're pessimistic about this game and you still like it, then what the hell are you doing? Why are you sitting there saying, I really like this game, but I think it's going down the crapper? That just doesn't make sense. That's so hypocritical. This is... I suppose you could say it's being honest, but there is no objective evidence that the game is dead or is failing. I hate that people say that. The WoW is dying. It's not dying. It's not alive. It's a game. It's either successful or not successful, and WoW at the moment is certainly successful. I think Blizzard are making money from it, so I think that counts as successful, and it's going to continue to be successful. Let's go back to optimism, shall we? Because I'm tired of talking about pessimism for now. So, optimism. It can be great. It can also be a problem because you don't want to be naive, and optimism can intensify disappointment. You know, if something proves to suck and you are optimistic about it, it can be very disappointing. And yeah, that does happen. But that's not a reason to be negative. An argument I hear a lot is kind of if I'm never optimistic and I'm always pessimistic and I'm always cynical about everything, then two things can happen. Either the thing that I'm pessimistic about will suck, in which case I haven't lost anything, I'm not disappointed, or it will be awesome, in which case it's a pleasant surprise. I think that argument is stupid, really, because if you sit there spending your entire life not being optimistic about anything, like I said, I don't want to talk too much about real life, but it's gonna bloody suck. Because being optimistic is one of the most important things in life, I think. You have to be optimistic. You have to have faith that, you know, something isn't going to suck, because life generally doesn't suck that much. We like to think it does. But especially with games. Games are such a niche of life. Gaming is not everything about life. It's something very big about life for a lot of people, myself included. Don't get that wrong. Like, gaming has been massive in my life. Absolutely massive. You would have no idea. But at the end of the day, games are just games. You won't be playing WoW forever. You won't be playing MMOs forever. I won't be doing this forever. Certainly not. But they should be enjoyed while they're still here. And you should enjoy gaming as much as you possibly can. Because, yeah, there are things that suck in gaming. And there are a lot of landmines in the field of gaming. There are all kinds of different debacles every year. I mean, Angry Joe, who is a god among gaming, I will say that, makes a top 5 worst games, or top 5 biggest controversies. And he can do that because the industry provides him with the content, really. They just blunder around and make stupid mistakes. But, you know, people make mistakes, and sometimes they're just genuinely mistakes, and sometimes they're because the people making them are stupid. But it's not healthy, I think, to just sit there and go, oh, gaming sucks, you know, the industry is falling apart, or, you know, WoW is dying, WoW is no longer successful, if you're still in it, you know? If you have a point to it, like if you're sitting there and you're trying to present information about why you think WoW is dying, or why you think gaming is, you know, in shambles, then that might actually have a place. But I think just sitting there and complaining is terrible. You should never just sit there and complain. I suppose you could say I'm just sitting here and complaining, but I like to think that I'm providing a little bit of information and I'm really just trying to inspire people to be more optimistic, because optimism is awesome. Because I get to be optimistic all the time. And it's very easy not to be optimistic, let me say that, because having a YouTube channel is scary, because I am constantly thinking about it. Even when I'm nowhere near my computer, I'm thinking, what can I do? Can I do this video? Can I do that video? Is this a good idea? Is that a bad idea? Am I doing the right content? Am I doing the wrong content? Someone said this to me in the comments section, you know, and it really pissed me off, and that pisses me off for the whole day. Or, you know, someone said this and it was great, and it's okay, but should I do more things like that? Or are they just talking for themselves? And it can drive you crazy. And you can just look at the facts and say, I am a small YouTube channel. I am absolutely tiny. And, you know, I don't have that many subscribers. I don't make money from this. I still don't make money from this yet. Not from my channel, of course. From my curse contract I do, which is awesome. You guys helped me got that. So again, thank you very much. But, you know, I don't make money from doing my content. You know, it's not a source of income for me. It could stop at any time. I could make a video that is, like, controversial and that just, like, people just go, I don't like you anymore. I could just vanish. I could, you know, I could get hit by a car, and then I have to be in hospital for a couple of weeks, and then, no, my YouTube channel is screwed. I'll just lose loads of subscribers. So things like that suck, and it's very easy to be pessimistic about it, but I'm not. I like to think that I can sit here and I can just say, right, no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to keep growing, and the channel has been growing faster recently. Over the last few days, I've been gaining a lot of subscribers and a lot of comments, and that's awesome. I love the fact that people are commenting. Talk to me. I love talking to you people. I love activity on the channel. It's awesome. And I think, okay, we're going to get to 2,000 subscribers before Warlords hits. I don't know. We're nearly at 1,200, and we've still got 3 months left. That's a good sign. And that would be awesome. And that would be 2,000 people that get to go into Warlords of Draenor, and as soon as content is available, they'll have guides ready for them. They'll be able to have all these little things that are going on. And even if you don't play WoW, you might enjoy the content anyway. And I like to think that there are lots of smart people out there that follow my content, because really, that's what I think my content attracts. And you see, that's being optimistic. And it's very easy to be the opposite, but I think it's really important to be optimistic and think, no, this is going to go well. And if it doesn't go well, and you get disappointed, I think it's important to not just sit there and brood about it and be like, oh, you know, I didn't reach 2,000 subscribers before Warlords hits. Let's say that happens. I can't just sit there and be like, oh, well, that sucks. It's obviously because I've done something wrong and it's never going to get better. No, you say, okay, how can I make that happen? How can I get more subscribers? I need to make more interesting content. I need to make my content more up to date, which is going to be easy when Warlords hits because all my content will be, you know, up to date, unlike all of the guides that I make at the moment. So all that stuff is very important, I think, to be optimistic and say, okay, even when this went bad, I was able to do this, 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 and this. And this is what I'm going to do in the future to make sure this doesn't happen again. And I think that's really important, to be optimistic and think that things are going to go well. Because even when it doesn't, even when things start to go bad and people betray your trust, I mean, this is something that I haven't understood, where people say on like WoW forums, where Blizzard employees have to defend their own company on a daily basis for stupid reasons, because people are sitting there and complaining and just whining, and oh my goodness me, it pisses me off. Because apparently they've betrayed their trust. They make video games. Sure, they make very important video games, some of the best video games in the industry with lots of devout followers. But they're just video games. Enjoy them. That's kind of the whole point. Enjoy video games. There's no trust left anymore for anyone, which sucks, I think, because gaming is for fun. And this, having to rant about optimism and pessimism and people saying there's no trust left for people who make games, that's not fun. That's it for this episode of Tuskeh Talks. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you have any thoughts, you can contact me using the links in the description, or just leave a comment. I'm more than happy to chat with you people about this weird rant I just did, so you can do that all down below. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I wish you the best of luck with your gaming endeavours.